Welcome back to the show. You're still watching E Central. Now, nostalgia is a feeling of longing for a time in the past. It's even more powerful when we consider classic movies and evergreen songs. Joining me on today's show to answer the question, classics versus remakes, are movie reboots worth the hype? Is, of course, filmmaker himself, Jide Pound Ibotoye. Jide, good to have you on the show. Can you hear us?
Hi, good afternoon.
Fantastic. I thought I lost you for a bit.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, let's get into this conversation because there's so much to unpack. Now, we can all agree what classics are, right? They're popular, they're relevant, and some would even say they are evergreen. Now, off the top of your head, what are some classic Nollywood films that most people should have watched, or if they haven't, well, maybe they don't know about classics? Give me a few.
I think one of the classics that I've seen that was really good is Jumanji.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen Jumanji?
Lion King, maybe. I like that you went straight to the international scene.
Yeah.
No,
that's.
Go ahead, Jide.
Yeah. Jumanji. For
Nollywood.
I think. What's the name of this? For Nollywood,
Living in Bondage, perhaps?
what's the name of this movie? I'm trying to. Yeah, Living in Bondage. I think that's the Living in Bondage. I think that's one of the remakes that has been made in the Nollywood. That as well was something.
Now, let me ask you, right? What are your thoughts on? Because I feel like it's become a trend. Not only on the international scene, of course, we've seen Hollywood films, Lion King do remakes, Nollywood here as well, like we did mention, Living in Bondage. Would you agree that it's a trend? And is it a trend that you think should stay? Are you getting the fresh perspective, or you don't think they should go into it? Talk to me.
Yeah, I think it should stay. I, as a filmmaker, I think that I would be doing something of such, in the future from now. So, I mean, remakes should be done. In the music scene, you would hear musicians also do samples from songs from back in time, making their own vibe into it. And so why not have it in the movie industry too? So yeah, I think it's just something that should stay.
Right. Now, you did mention music, and maybe some would say that it's easier, to sample. It's easier with music. There are not a lot of moving parts. But in film, like Nollywood, where you're concerned, it might be a lot more complicated, And you pointed out films like Living in Bondage. I mean, 2019, we got a remake from the classic from 1992, 1993. But what are some of the problems that you think make it harder, to create these remakes when you say even compared to music? What are some of the challenges that, filmmakers will experience?
So, for movies, it's a lot very complicated because you want to make it better. You don't want to make it look wacky. You want to make the story as original as possible. What they did not do back in the time when they were making the original movie, you want to make it better in the aspect of art direction, in the aspect of cinematography, in the aspect of costume, and even storyline. You want to add some other things to just make it look a bit better than what it is now. So yeah, I mean, making a movie is a big deal, and then you have to make sure that when you are making a remake of something, you make it good. For music, a lot of people has remade some music that is not even as good as the original, and they will get away with it. But for movies, you cannot get away with it. If you do something not good or not better than the original, you are in for a lot of critique and you are in for a lot of trouble.
Now, I must ask, because you did talk about trying to stick to the original, but also infusing a few things that, the original missed out on, like you did talk about costume. I'm just thinking, at what point do you find the balance between sticking to an original story, right? Maybe, in fact, bringing back the original actors if they're still alive, and wanting to add some new elements into it. When do you know where to create this balance, where it's doing too much, where it's not? What do you think?
I mean, the goal of remaking any movie is to make it look good. You know, I mean, there are things back in time when, probably they don't have good steadicams, they don't have good tech lights that we have now. The experiences of the new generation. I mean, I don't think any balance should be made. Just make something good. Make something exceptional.
Right.
Don't give your head to the critics to cut. Just be good with.
Jide, are you with us? We might be having some network issues on Jide's side. Jide, if you can hear me, I think it's so interesting, honestly, how these films, right, we have seen remakes, and a lot of money seems to go into them. Now, it's so incredible that Lion King, of course, the first remake back in 2019, actually became Disney's most expensive animated film to create. Now, did it make the numbers? Yes, in fact, 1.6 billion in revenue, but many would argue that it was still a flop. So I guess my concern many times is when they say these remakes, what makes it successful? Is it that we get the nostalgic feeling, it resonates with the next generation, or is it the number and the money that it's making? Because if you look at Lion King, yeah, that is a good international example. And you can say Nneka the Pretty Serpent, there was definitely more money that went into it as an Hollywood film, but did people really enjoy it? Did they do a killer job? I guess that's a question that we will keep asking and asking. Jide, are you with us? I think we lost him. Well, I do think this is important, seeing that the industry has grown over the many years, and the nostalgic feeling would always still be something that, honestly, as human beings, we love to feel. So maybe on that note, we will say let's encourage more classics being remade, but the big question is, will we like it? Will it do good? Would it remind us of those memories and those emotions? I guess it's only one way to find out. We keep watching the statistics and hoping that we see more and more, of course, come out in Nollywood and around the movie scenes in the entire world.